Hi, so we already know all the basic concepts of React. So what are components, what is state, what is prop, and what are different methods that are used to create a state. So after that, after studying React in depth, the next thing that we need to do is to understand how you can create a React application, because React gives us a way in which you should be creating your front-end application so that they are very fast. So in this video, I will be teaching you people how to think in React. So first step should always be to create a basic HTML for the given application. So here we have is a simple to-do app. I have taken a simple application so that you can understand it easily. So first of all, what I will be doing is I will be taking a simple Create React app and I will be going to its app.js. First of all, what I will be doing is I will be renaming it to JS6 so that I can get all those suggestions from Emmet, and just remove everything from here, and I will leave all those things as it is. Just put an h1, so marking that we are building this to-do app. Okay, so let's just start the application using npm start. So npm start. So now we have just a to-do app. Okay, so for the styling stuff I am using your bootstrap. So I will be copying its cdn link, okay, to my public folder, to index.html file. It's now copied. Let's just move forward, and now let's just first of all see what is the UI of it. Okay, so if I talk about UI, so you can see that there's an input, there's a button, and there's a list item. So first of all, we'll be building it. So what I will be doing is just closing it inside, and let's have the magic of Emmet. So just dot input box for the upper area that contains button and a input, and for the another guy what we can have is we can have the output box. So just dot output box. So now you know why I did that in G6 thing, so that I can use these suggestions. Okay, so for UL and then align to 4. So from this I have made a basic static version of the application. So let's just do a bit of styling also. Okay, so first step would be to simply create a static version of your application. Don't worry about anything else, just create a static version of it. Okay, as dumb as it sounds, but it is important for your visualization. So for this I've already added the link. So the next thing would be to just style it a bit. So for the styling I will be using classes of bootstrap. So button primary, that will give it a blue color. So here we have, and apart from that there are minor changes, so just let me just paste it out, these classes. So what did I do? I just moved it to here. Okay, so this is the original one, and to remove this class, these dots, I have just a simple class that is used in UL, that is I think list group. So let's see. So because of this our dots are removed. So I don't think so there is much to do. We can do two more things, like adding some padding and some margin. So that thing I also that add it, and now it looks better. Now you can just type it. So now you have the static UI for it. The next step, the second step, is to divide on the basis of their task, what they are doing. So if I talk about our application, so straight away we can say that this is our whole to-do app. Okay, and inside that I can divide this application into two parts on the basis of responsibilities. So what we can say is this area is for input and this area is for output. So the second step is to divide the application into different components on the basis of their responsibilities. Okay, and there is no hard and fast rule. You can divide as per your choice. Okay, so I'm dividing the whole application into two parts. First is input area, second is output area. So for that, we need to divide the whole applications into the components. So I will be creating a folder named components, and I will be creating first, that is input box .jsx, and second will be output box .jsx, output box .jsx, and this jsx. Cool. So let's just paste individual codes of these. So it is the input box. I will just be going, I will be using the snippet RFCE. So control space, and then I will be replacing this. Okay, and then the last part, the output box part, cutting it out, then pasting it over there. Command X, RFCE, and then over here. So, and now next thing will be importing this into your main app.js. So import your input box from components folder and your output box from the, and one thing more you should be doing is to name it with the uppercase. Okay, that is a common convention, so don't ever name it with the lowercase. Okay, so that differentiates between your normal HTML elements and React components. Okay, so input box and your output box. So the second step would be dividing your whole application into the different components on the basis of their actions. So this whole thing, I think, worked perfectly. Okay, exactly. So the next step, the third step, would be to make them work individually. So the task of input box is to take input, and the task of output box is to take output. Let's see how the third thing, that is making them work individually, is done. So first of all, let's make input box working. For that, I need to make sure that I should be able to take the input from here. Okay, so for this, what I will be doing is I will be importing use state. Okay, use state from here, and what I will, you already know that these are the control components. So what we need to do is we need to track its value, comma set value at every instance. Okay, so use state, initially it should be empty, and value should be equivalent to our value variable. And so let's just put it hello over here so that we can check it. Hello is printed. That's why by default it is taking the basic value of it. So for on change, what I need to do is change. What I will be doing is I will be using e, and I will be setting this to set value e dot target dot value. So I will be updating the value of the value variable whenever user enters anything into that input. So in that way we can make it working, and as well as we can make sure that we are getting the value. So let me just it is working. So now the next task would be to taking the input from here. This was not the exact task, but we had to do is when I click on this, when I click on this button, then I should be able to get the task, get current task, get current task. Okay, so let me create a method for the same. So const get current task equals to simple arrow function, and first of all what I will be doing, just alerting the value. Okay, whatever that's inside our input, and just clearing it out. Just set value, just clearing it out, so that we are able to get the values. We are sure that we are getting the values. Okay, So for this, if I do add task, this is being alerted and then it is removed from here. So now what we have done is we have at least made this part working. Okay, of course, what we should be doing when we click add task over here, it should go to this area. We will be doing that part, but as of now, what we are doing is we are making these individual components working on their own. Okay, the fourth step would be to creating a communication between them. Okay, so let's just start with it. And so let's just make our output box also working. So as we know that whenever this input wala guy add a task to your list, so what should happen is a new task should be added. So for this list will always change. So what we need is a list item and an array of the task that should represent all the tasks. Okay, so just be using use state over here, and use state comes here, just a simple empty array. So just const tasks and comma set task. Okay, so for now what we can do is first task, second task, just adding these tasks. Okay, third task, like this. So now let's just put all these tasks into our UI. Okay, so for this you already know how React works. It just act like a string, template string, where anything that you put inside a curly brace will be evaluated. So what will happen is I will be mapping that whole tasks array. Okay, task.map, and for every iteration I will be getting a task, first task, second task, and all those things, and our index also. And what I should be turning is I should be giving them back an li element for every task, and for I should be using a key thing for uniquely identify my elements. Just index would come here and then your task would come here. So this is how all those tasks will be mapped. So individually, if we see that this guy is able to take the input from the input box, this input, and this guy is able to print the task that is given to it. The next task would be to establish a communication channel between these two. So what should happen is, so if we see these components, but we have seen that your app is the parent, or the to-do was the parent, and it has two things. First is input box, and second will be the output box. Okay, so what should happen is, if I want to add some tasks, what should happen is whenever I over here click on this button, so first of all I should be able to get the task, and second of all I should be able to send this task to here. And then this app will tell my output box a new task is added. Okay, so for that it should re-render it. So how you will be able to send data to your parent? So let's see how can we make it happen. For that, what you need to do, create a method, a simple method inside your app.js that will be used to get new task from input. Okay, just a simple method over here, const and equals to a simple arrow function, and you will be getting a simple task from here. And as of now I'm just alerting it out. So get just a task, the new task that you will be getting. Okay, and for communication we have, of course, we have simple thing, we have a prop to pass. So just pass it as it is, and you can just go to your input box and receive it there in the form of your prop. So just but I should be, before clearing it out, I am not alerting as of now. I'm just sending it using props dot get current task. I think the name of the method would be get new task from input. Where is it? Props dot, and just send the value of that thing. Okay, so let's see how that is transferred to our parent. Just using this app wala thing, and then just adding this, appending this. Okay, let me type something, just add it. So inside app you have send the message. Now what we need to do is to send the same message to the output box, so he can print it out, print the new task with the remaining number of tasks. So one more thing is, like, this input box needs to communicate with this output box, so it needs to go through your parent. It needs to go through your parent, and for this communication to happen, it needs to go through here. And because of this communication, the tasks array need to be changed. So this tasks array access should be provided to both of these things. So for that, what we usually do is put the state of anything that is common for both the children to the parent. So in that case, whenever I pass something to it, and then I can directly change the state from here. And then if the state of a component changes, what does React do? It re-render the whole component, including its children. Okay, so because of that, if a new task come to me to the app component, and the app component has the task array, and it update that task array, the app component will be updated, and because of that, the whole application will be updated and the new task will be added. So that's why whenever a common state is being used between two components, so you should be putting that state to the parent component. Okay, so let's just see it in action. So first of all, what I will be doing is I will be copying this task state to my app component. Okay, and for this I have to import my use state also from React, and that guy React also. Okay, if you want to. And as soon as I have this task that I am getting from the input box from here, of course. Okay, what I will be doing is I will be taking this task and adding to my tasks array. Okay, so for that you can usually do your destructuring, okay, or the split operator for new task, and you will be getting a new task, all the tasks array. So what happens in React is you don't change the state variable. Okay, the only way to change your state variable is the method that you get using use state. Okay, that's why I just copied its value and added a new task, and then I just replaced that new array with my existing tasks array. Okay, so in this way things will work. And of course, what I will be doing is I will be passing this tasks array as a prop, and I can easily use this task array in my output box. I should remove it because now I'm getting it in the form of props, and then your props.task.map. So now let's just see, does it work? Add task. Yes, it works fine. So now we know how to build a React application using these simple steps that you should always keep in mind. So let's just revise these all. First of all, just see the UI, create a static version of it using HTML and CSS. Second, see that UI and see different components that can be divided using responsibilities. So like what I did was, like, I divided this application into two parts. First was responsible for taking input. Second was responsible for printing the output. So first part will be having a state variable that will be used for the input part, and second will be for the output part. So what I did initially was I just created an input box that had a variable value that is used to take input, and the output box that initially had tasks array to represent all the tasks that it will be receiving. And after this, what you need to do is you need to establish a communication channel between your children component. So there were two things. First of all, to pass something from children to parent, what you need to do is you need to initially pass a method. What I did was I passed a method to my children component, that is input box. Okay, and then it will call it, and then I will receive the data from children to parents. So for communication between children to parent, you need to initially pass a method, and then it will call that method and then give you the data. And second thing is, to pass data from parent to children, you just need to pass a prop, basically a simple prop. And the third thing was that if a certain state is used by multiple children, then it is better to keep that state in the common parent. So these were the 4 steps that you should always keep in mind while creating a React application. Hi, so when it comes to styling a particular React application, there are multiple ways to doing a simple task. Every method has its pros and cons, and being a React developer, you all should know which technique you should apply in your current scenario, because there are different job roles and different responsibilities. So according to that, there are multiple types of styling techniques that are being used in the industry. Okay, so in this video, I am going to explain the major 4 ways in which you can style a React application with their pros and cons. So let's just jump right into it. So majorly there are 4 ways in which you can style a component or a React application. First is inline styling, where you style right into the component. Second, by using a CSS in JS library, maybe your style components, that adds up to that inline styling. And there is another way, the old school, that is using CSS style sheets. And on that improvement, there is another thing, CSS modules. So there are majorly 4 ways, and according to your need, you can choose any of those. So first up here is inline styling. First of all, we are going to create a simple folder named components as usual. Inside that, I will be creating a component name, component inline.js. Inside that, we can use a snippet rfce, and also I'm going to create a simple h1 tag. That's enough. And then let's just import that in our app.js file. Your simple component inline. So now we are imported it. Let's go over there and try to, I think I've just placed div. Okay, let's just go over here, come over here and start styling it. So if you remember, when you were styling in HTML, then you use style attribute. Here we also use style attribute, but you can't represent styling in a way of string in React. You can't do something like this, color is colon black, and that is, or red, and that is in a string. Okay, so what you need to do is, you need to have an object, because these attribute takes an object as an input, because styling in React is represented using an object. Okay, so something like this, const h1 styling equals to, you have to represent it like this, color will be the key, colon, and then its value can be red. And now you can use it over here, h1 styling. Okay, so that's how you are going to style your inline styling. And apart from that, you can't use the normal convention of CSS. You can't use this kind of thing. Okay, you have to use camel casing, that is available in React. So background can be light green. Okay, so that's how inline styling works in React. And one more thing, like we used to do inline styling in CSS, normal HTML and CSS, we weren't able to transfer one styling of one element to another. The same also holds true here. Let's just see another thing that is not possible in inline styling. That is, let me just create a button component and RSCE. Just create a normal button. Okay, let's just style it. Okay, I just want to style it right away. You can just put two objects and you can style it over here also. So let's just say I have given some border and some padding, and I'm saying I am a button, and also don't forget to import it. So component is not, it's your button. Okay, I am a button and I want to give it background color light blue. Okay, so there were two things. One, you can't use the power of cascading in these inline styling, and if you have styled one component using an object, then then if you want the similar styling, then you have to export all those objects in a different file or in a same file, and you have to use it in different ways. Okay, and second thing is you can style your elements as usually you are doing in CSS, but you can't work with pseudo classes or pseudo element like hover. Okay, so that is the second disadvantage with the inline styling. So let's see another way of doing inline styling using style component. So style component is basically a React library. Let's just Google it. Styled component. As the name suggests, it gives you React component that has some inbuilt styling. So for that, let's go through its home page. As you can see, const, it is giving me a button that is styled using an anchor, and there is some CSS written over here, and you can see there is a strange syntax. It is known as template tags. It is an alternative to function call or a method call. I will be explaining that later, but the power of it is that it gives you CSS inside a component, and it also allow you to use pseudo classes. Okay, so let's just first install it. So npm I styled components. So now it's installed. Let's just first of all create a file name styled component. Styled component.js, and I am using RFC, and inside that I would like to use a simple h1 inside it. Okay, h1, hi, I am h1, I am styled, and I am going to import it over here. So styled component. Okay, now let's just include this library over here. So we have already installed it. Let's just import it. So what you need to do is you need to import this styled. Okay, from styled component. And now, as of now, if you want to create if you want to give styling with the h1, okay, so their philosophy is like they are going to give you a component that is already styled. Let's see. So const, I am giving you small red h1. So for that, just need to do styled and just do dot. After that, you can see there are n number of all the HTML elements that could be possible. Okay, so I am using h1, and after that, of course, it is a method. Okay, but they are using template tags. It is a different syntax that they are using. So because of that, we will be able to write our CSS in the normal way that we used in the vanilla ways. Okay, so let me just start with it. For font size, that will be 1 rem, and as you can already see, I am using dash and CSS syntax for this also. Color is red. Okay, let's just, now what we can do is we can now replace, and also this should be in uppercase. So now you can just directly use small red h1. small red h1. So that's how style components work. So if I go here, so now you can see it is a style component. Okay, and so you can easily see that all the styling of a component is inside it, and you can directly use as a normal component. And let's see advantage of it over normal inline styling. So that is, if I use a button, let's say I want to have a button. So I want to have a button, my button. Okay, I want to create a my button. Just do styled, and it provides you every HTML element. So if you want to create it on the basis of an HTML element, you can do that also. So I'm doing this. And after that, you can just do uh, font size is 2 rem or 1 rem would be fine, and I am going to give it width of 5 rem, and I'm just first of all including this over here. So my button. So as the name suggests, it gives you styled components. Okay, now it comes to the background color, and also be aware with these quirks of autocomplete. So we are using our own syntax of our own, the older version of CSS, that vanilla CSS. So that's why you have to be aware about that. You should not be using camel casing over here. Okay, background color is light green. It works. And apart from that, let's just see how it differs on the browser level with the normal inline styling. Okay, so for that, if I go over here and for my component that is inline, if I see, and if I go inside that, so you can see for those where I just put directly into the style component as a styled attribute as an object, there is a directly inline styling. And for the style component, we have classes with the unique name. Okay, so what does it do? It just give your style component a unique class, and it just put your CSS over here somewhere, here I think, yes, here. Okay, this is a whole styling that is given by your style components. Okay, so next question is, when do you have to use this style component? So if your company size is small, and you are wholly responsible for the front end that involves the styling and both the React part, then JS in CSS is better, or the style components is a better choice. Okay, so now let's just move to the third part and the third method of doing styling in React, where we will be seeing how we do styling when we are in a bigger organization, where the styling part is handled by different department or different developer, and you just majorly are responsible for the React part. So separation of the concern is also sometime important. So let's just see the third part, that is using the style sheets. So let's just first of all create a file name, sheet component.js, and inside that I will be using my snippet RFCE. Within that, I will be creating an h1 tag and a p tag. I am sheet file. Okay, after that you should be importing that in your app component. So sheet component, and let's just import it. So if I want to use the styling, then what I need to do is, it is rather similar to your normal vanilla HTML and CSS, where you have to just create a simple CSS file. So as of now, I will be creating a simple style.css file, and style.css file, and I will be creating classes inside it for the styling purpose. So a simple like heading dot heading 1, and I am going to color it with color orange, and the para class with color with the font size 2rem. So in this way you can easily style it. And here I need to use class name keyword because class is a reserved keyword in JavaScript. So that's why you should be avoiding class keyword over here. Class name para. And to use this styling, to see the effect, you need to import the file like a normal file. You just need not to import any object kind of thing, just /style.css. I think that's enough. So if we see over here, then it is of 2rem, and if I change the color to color is red, that is also visible, I think. Yes. So that's how you can do the styling when it's come to normal using style sheets. But there are some advantages to it. Let's just see those also. So the point over here is, like, if I use an h1 over here and it's inside button, and I'm not importing the CSS file. Let's see what happens over here. And I am using heading 1 class. Let's see if that is applied to our component or not. Yes, it is also applied. So if we come over here and inspect it, then what happens over here is that the styling, when it's come to style sheet, then it is global. Because what happens is, if we talk about head, so it is a single page application. The whole React application is single page. So the styling that you put in this file is picked up and put it into the head tag of the application. So these two classes will be present. So any component that is using this class will automatically get this CSS class. So that is an issue. So that is an issue that we need to work on, and the fourth technique will be working on that issue majorly. Apart from that, there are other features that you can also use in style sheet. Let's see first that, and then we are going to overcome the disadvantages of the global scope of this CSS when you are using style sheets. So let's just come here, and next thing is, you can also do something conditional styling also. Let's just say if I come here and I can also pass a prop like style is styled true, or true, and I can go inside over here and I can receive that in my props, and over here I can simply use styling equals to if props dot style is styled is true, styled equals to true, then only I am going to put some styling over here. Otherwise I will not style it with an empty string. So in place of this string, you can also put a variable that can hold a value. So you can also do conditional styling over here. So as of now, it is giving me true, and if I change the prop to false, then the styling would be removed for this component only. Okay, so that is another way in which you can do the styling. And apart from that, you can also use multiple classes in a particular element. I can also use multiple classes. Let's see how that we can make it happen. So if I want to apply the para and the styling class, both of these, and a part of it conditionally, I can do that part also. Let's see how that I can make it happen. For that, we will be using template strings, and I can use para, and conditionally I can use the styling part also. So that's how you can use multiple classes with conditionals also. Okay, so that is the magic of your styling. So that's all in this technique. Let's just see the next technique of CSS modules that will help us overcome this global problem. Like if I just remove the para and I just use normal your and I pass true over here, in that case just the styling. In that case both of these will be orange, but this should not be orange because I haven't intended to do it like this. So let's see how modules can help us. So modules is an inbuilt feature of Create React app. When you bundle your application, React application with the Create React app, it allows you to create CSS style files that are local to their scope. Okay, so let's see how that I can make it happen. So for that, you just need to do a simple thing. Just rename the file with the extension style.module.css. Okay, that is the thing. And let's see what are the other things that need to be changed. So next is to import, and now you have to import an object from there. So I'm naming it styled. So as you can see, there is no change in the CSS file, just the name is renamed. Okay, so Webpack works behind the scene and tweaks us for it, and what it does is it just takes all the CSS classes and put them into an object, and then you can export it when you are using dot module. So with that, if you want to use that styling, you can just simply do simple thing like styled dot heading 1, and I should be naming it with the help of camel casing. Then that is one thing that I need to take care of. Okay, so with this, what has happened that now this styling is only applied to this current component because the styling is local to it, and I have to import into this file after that, this component after that I will be able to use. Okay, so that is the last part, and let's see how it works behind the scene. So if I inspect it and if I go over here, you can also see there is a difference between normal styling and this that you have a style and a simple identifier that is attached to it, so that every component that uses a module CSS will be getting a new set of classes. That's all in this video. If you have any doubts, you can ask in the comments. Till then, bye bye, take care.